Okay, so why haven't I finished this painting? I was posting my progress on it, but then it just didn't get done. So I was looking at it and realized something is just wrong. And I went to some friends for some critique and I didn't get a ton of feedback, so I thought, okay, I'm just gonna look at this from art teacher brain and figure this out. So I pulled it up and went, okay, my light source needs to be more direct. So I changed it so that there is a more direct light source coming from outside of the canvas. And you can see this, how I've created more light and more shadow. So it's outside at above her head height and projecting down. So there's a lot less light below the knees, a lot more light up by the forehead and the hair. And so I created all these mid-tones with some cyan, which is what it really needed. And so then I went, okay, the color looks right now, but something else is wrong. So how do I fix this? Where do I go from here? And it took some going back to my basics of what do I know about art? How am I going to repair this? Do I just start over and paint over it? And what I figured out is that my shadow was off. So what I needed to do was follow the light source and go directly behind it because your shadow should be directly opposite and in a straight line. And my shadow, for some reason, I had it tilting to the left. So my shadow needs to be directly behind, and maybe it's a little bit lower, but it should be down here and not where I had it. And I think if we do that, it's going to start to look a lot better. And how I'm doing this is I took the piece into ProCreate and I'm just using some transparent colors to figure out how dark I need to go, where it starts making sense. I also have one that has some light in here, so I'm going to adjust that because I want to take away the light from where I had added it before. So I had corrected that. I'm going to go back to the shadowy layer, fill that area in, and then I'm going to go back to this light layer and go, okay, well, it looks like we're starting to have a pretty decent looking piece. And it doesn't have anything to do with the details in the face and the eyes and all of these things that you could focus on way too much. What I needed to focus on was getting the lighting right. So, lighten it up through here a bit. We're going to totally ditch any light that's happening on this left side, and that's because the direction of the light is actually going to go behind her, and any shadow is going to go right on the right wall. So we just have to follow what we know about light, which is really take science into this. Be logical about it. So now we've got the shadow right behind her. This is starting to make a lot more sense. And we can start to bring some stuff that's focused. I think part of what is wrong, and I use that a little bit loosely, is that the hair and the background aren't working together. It just isn't making sense. So I'm going to throw another layer in here and see if I can figure something out for it to start to make a little more sense. And my instinct is that we need to warm this up a bit because the background is a yellowy color to it. And, we start to add this orange. And I don't know if you can tell what the face just did there, but the face just went whoop, popped out. So here we're doing that, and now the hair is pulling the head out. We can see it really distinctly. and it's bringing that shadow in the back. Let's see how much of a shadow we can throw into this hair and make it make sense. Let's go darker. Whoa. Wow. Okay, so we had the wrong hair color on her. Wasn't working. I'm going to take some of this warm shadow in there, and whoa, that neck suddenly went to the back. I'm going to put just a tad bit of reflected light on that back neck there. I'm going to use a warm light for that. I also want a tad bit of reflected light on the back of these pants. There we go. And there. And then also under the sleeve, around there. Now this is just going to be a hint in the piece. So this is light reflecting from the floor, from the wall, going back onto here. And I think once we do that, once I do that, there's no we here. Once I do this, then this piece is going to make sense. So you'll have to come back and see if it actually works. But this will be what I'm attempting to execute, and I think this composition makes a lot more sense than what I had going on before.